Boom. Ethereal synchronicity 444. So camera's leaning this way. It looks like it's that way. Whatever. Anyway, I'm here. Center screen. Right. What we're looking at. We're looking at the Aries New Moon. Yeah. It's not quite hit yet officially. It's gonna be 9:30 in the morning. Great British. Well, yeah. Greenwich Meridian Time, GMT, as we call it. And yeah, looking at the chart at the moment, we got Aquarius in Manchester area on the eastern horizon. Let me follow this just for people. I should show up in yellow, although it doesn't here for me. And Sagittarius on the midheaven. Yeah, so Aquarius flavor for the individual, Sagittarius flavor to the masses. So astrology on a big scale. I'll go with that one intuitively. So everything's just pushing into the 12th house as we speak, and I'm here making a film, and the film is considered, or at least the distance of us, you consuming me via this medium. Check these words out. Basically, yeah, you see me like this, thinking about this Mercury in Pisces, try to speak directly and fluidly. I mean, for me, it's not too much of a problem, but for you to understand it straight and get to the point because of the climate, I just try and translate some of these things in a straight, more direct way because people seem to resonate with it. So, and you got all this stuff in the 12th section, the Pisces type section. It kind of speaks to, I guess, letting go, which is actually mad because the moon is actually closing in on the sun to be a new moon, and this is like the 12th. You could call it the 8th or the 9th phase of the moon, depending on, because it's about 8/9 phases, typically speaking, in the Western tropical system. But yeah, it's gonna go to the 4th degree along with the sun, because the sun's on 3:59, going into the 4th degree anytime soon. So that's time in the morning, in a few hours, you will have the sun and the moon meet, with the moon taking over, and at this point in time they're actually both well, they're going to be even closer, conjunct to Chiron and Black Moon Lilith. Now I find this quite interesting. I was almost going to say disturbing, but yeah, that might be a bit stronger word. Let's have a look. Aries New Moon chart. Right, so chart you just seen before was a real-time chart. This is a chart of what you're going to see, well, the moment in hours to come. So the moon is going into Aries, and I literally felt the flavour change. I was watching something briefly, and it went from being relatively calm to start talking about reparee and arms and who's doing what. And I was sitting there for a minute or two, and I thought the moon must have gone into Aries. It definitely must have, because it was all on it. And sure enough, I checked it up quickly, and it was. So, New Moon Aries, why is it significant? Well, you've got the solar Spring Equinox, yeah, which is the sun, so that's a solar beam, going into Aries, starting the new year, March 21st, sometimes March the 20th, depending on how the calendar lines up. Ouchie, ouchie. Itchy ear. In fact, I'll take them off for a moment, don't think I need them. The ambience is not too bad. So basically, yeah, you've got the sun going into Aries a couple of days ago, so we're March 24th officially now, but March the 20th, March 21st, give or take each year, you will have the sun come into Aries, and why people are basically known as Aries, or, you know. So with that, that's like the start of the new year. Oh, so what to speak to the Aries point, so it's a very significant point because you've got like a beginning and an end in it, yeah, with, you know, life, everything, structure. So if you were going to ever have a start, and the reason why I've mentioned it and repeated it so many times, this is considered the start and a very significant point. And anything opposite or even square, which basically means 90 degrees. So if we move around like this, you'll see how they go in a square fashion. In fact, there you go, inside here. If you have a square situation or an opposite situation, you have a very strong reflection of what will be happening. Oh, sorry, not what will be happening. Action, activity. It causes friction, like when you rub two pieces of wood together to create fire. You have to do it at a certain angle to create the level of friction to achieve it. And this seems to be that angle, like the 90-degree cross point. So you get this effect doubled when you get this opposition here. So these bodies that I'm looking at are not actually bodies, but actually the nodes of the moon, which are technical points. So this one at the top of the chart happens to be the south moon and not the north node. South node, not the north node. And this is the north node down here at the bottom. And I could get into the technicality that basically it'll take 9 years for them to reach each other's position, go all the way around, the north node being in Capricorn and the south node being in Cancer. But for the time being, the north node is in Cancer for a little longer at 3 degrees and moving backwards till it gets to the 29th degree of Gemini, which is going to be coming up soon, and that's going to change the flavour of things substantially for the next 18 months to come, as the north and the south nodes will spend their time in Gemini and Sagittarius. So this will create a different flavour. But right now we are seeing the Capricorn of business, government, hierarchy, structure. And this is the thing with the south node. The south node signifies the things that we need to let go of, and the north node signifies the things that we need to kind of embrace. So if this could ever ring true at the moment, it's home, family, base, space, origin. So, and it's making a balance between the two, always with the north and the south node. So if people ever wanted to know what that means and why that's such a significant point in the sky, well, I've just spoken to it. Literally what is happening right now for the whole world and the destiny of what was meant to happen at this time is connected to these nodes of the moon. So when you look at anyone's chart and you want to kind of like get to some kind of key factors of what's going on in a soul level, you'll probably look at the nodes of the moon, I should say, because every planets have nodes of their own, but that's a deeper level most people are not going into in the astrological community, I will say. But yeah, that was me just getting a bit techie. But the only reason why I even say all this stuff is because it's pertinent to the moment. Like, if you could say the moon's nodes were like destiny or fate, basically in transit in time, and kind of relate to the sun and moon's position. The sun and moon are not considered. You've got these ideas like skip steps and the bends, but I believe the sun and moon, the luminaries, don't really have the same effect when they are square to the nodes compared to any other planets. So you'll find that's a significant thing in birth charts. If you have planets in a square situation or even conjunct to the nodes. In my case, I have conjunctions to either node, so it's like destiny is one way and the other way, and it's a balance of the two, essentially, in real life. But yeah, I've seen a lot of squares and conjunctions and trines, different aspects to the nodes, which kind of have different results depending on what the planets are. So I'm looking at this. What probably needs to be mentioned is all of this martial law talk and government and society. So you've got this Capricorn energy with Mars 25 degrees, Pluto 24 degrees, Jupiter 23 degrees, and Pallas Athena at 22 degrees. So 22, 23, 24, 25 degrees of Capricorn are all covered by planets. That says basically quite a conjunction. And if you signify, Mars is about drive, will, action, getting things done, or well, basically initiating things to be done, how you will do them, how you will step to achieve them. Pluto is about death, birth, redestruction, transformation, digging deeper on the psychological, physical, kind of like digging deep for oil level. If you have Mars and Pluto together, it's a very, very strong, potent force. And then if you add Jupiter to anything that it touches, it expands and enlarges these forces. Now, the thing with Pluto is it actually can take something away, or it can really emphasize it. That is two things. But conjoined with Jupiter here, kind of I was gonna say it, emphasize it, but you all got to look at the fact that these planets are in the sign of Capricorn. Should slow down waving these about. And Capricorn speaks to things of structure, being and when Saturn itself actually, so here we go, Saturn's getting its little cameo. Saturn was just in Capricorn. Saturn was the ringleader of these planets. Now technically, because of how astrology works, Saturn is still the one that they have to report to and is the ringleader of anything that is operating in Capricorn. With Saturn having to go into Aquarius, that could speak to why things have got a little bit crazy. Now, yeah, here we go. Let me get to what I was really thinking about before I even started the video. Saturn itself in Aquarius, and everything I spoke to in the video that I've previously uploaded, I'll put a card in, slide, time, edit, I to the clock. With the social wider scheme of things being the people, that's Aquarius, and Saturn being the restrictions, delays, and disappointments. Saturn speaks to a lot of things on the physical level, the authorities in placing restrictions on the wider masses and the social group gathering and distancing. Basically very Aquarian. It's like you've all got to sit on your own little planet in space in the galaxy and don't try to be interacting with anybody else. Aquarius can be very like, it's what's the word, contrary is a word. Uranus can talk about reversals and sudden happenings. So Aquarius can be like the most super social, know everybody, in contact with everybody type person, but also kind of be the most antisocial, leave me alone, I've disappeared, I've switched off and I've gone off the grid type person. So it's a very paradoxical energy depending on which level it's functioning on, how it's working for a certain individual. So I said all that, why? Because Saturn is gone into Aquarius, but with this Saturn in Aquarius, it's making a line or an alignment, a square alignment to Uranus, which is known to be the ruler of Aquarius, or there you go. So old school ruler Saturn, new school ruler Uranus. So Saturn and Uranus, old school ruler, new school ruler of the sign Aquarius. Just so I've said it all. I think all of these things in my head and then sometimes take for granted everybody else doesn't know. So I have to say everything even though it sounds redundant to myself at times. So Saturn, I keep saying it. Capricorn, Aquarius, both traditionally ruled by Saturn. Yeah? In modern terms, Uranus has been given rulership of Aquarius. Nearly said Saturn again. But Saturn, as the traditional ruler of Aquarius, has good, how can I say, standing in this sign. So it's not really like it's gone haywire since it's left Capricorn. Saturn traditionally is considered to, well, I say be at home here, but are we feeling at home? We are at home. That is one thing to be said. And Saturn's all got us here. But now it's in square to Uranus, right? Here we go. Here's where it starts to get juicy. The money, the bank. People always want to know about that, and then that the relationships, the foundations, the stability. Now Uranus, as I just said, and the sign Aquarius can deal a lot with reversals, quick turnarounds, up and down, sudden surprises. It's kind of like an electric planet, like zap. Literally, that's why it's like two waves of like, you could call them like lightning bolts, is something that's been referred to often, water waves, but yeah, it's like an electrical energy that works at a super highway speed, if you get what I mean. So the thing with this anyway, right, is that money, everyone's talking about money now, like saying like this paper's going to get redundant, like the loot, you ain't going to be able to spend it no more, or the mattress money's dead, like the game's dead, like everything's dead. And I don't know, I'm not the biggest economist, but I'm not going to act like, you know, money don't matter to me at all or nothing. Everyone's got to eat, survive. This is where things are going to change. Like everyone said when Uranus went into Taurus, it's going to cause a situation where, you know, we're going to look at alternative methods of getting food, or how we'll eat, or how we'll spend money, or how money will even be in the financial system. And I mean, we wondered how it's going to happen, and this seems to be the start of it, a very good start of it. So, well, I say good start of it, I mean a good signature or a sign that everybody can see to what is upon us at this point in time. So Chiron and Lilith, I can't like not go further in on these planets and being with the moon and the sun at the new moon time, and also go a bit deeper into what this new moon means. So it's Aries, the start of the new year, as I said a minute ago. Everything's gone in the Aries point, but the new moon is the start of like the new month. So when you get the Aries new moon, then it's really like the start of the new year, if you get what I mean. So you got the Zodiac new year, but the Aries new moon kind of really gives that kick and that spice to a new cycle that begins with the sun and the moon in Aries together. So if you're ever to initiate something like really from the jump, yeah, this would be the point. But the thing about Aries is the staying power and seeing things through to the end. That is not the Arian trait. That's kind of the Taurus or the Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius fixed sign nature that adds that quality to Aries action. So the reason why that's fundamental, that I've even said that, is because the Saturn in Aquarius here, the angle that it's making with 0 degrees, and these two at 4 degrees, it's making a sextile, which gives the opportunity for Saturn to add its influence to the sun and the moon, and give more added structure of discipline of getting things achieved and accomplished under Aquarian manners, like, to say the least, ideal schemes or inventiveness. Yeah, inventiveness. These are all kind of keywords that speak to Aquarius and Uranus. So with Saturn being there, like the structure of how we do things might involve more technology or more, I don't know, maybe creative thinking for some. So that's one part of it. The Chiron signifies the healing and the wounding and the sensitivity, and this is a very sensitive topic. Like, I can see this with being Aries. It's kind of mad. The government have got themselves out on the street real rapping and saying they're going to lock us all down, but when I see these planets in Aries, yeah, I kind of feel like it's going to be itchy, irritating for anyone to even stay under the premise of basically what they're being told. Aries is a self-initiating, self-starting, autonomous kind of energy, so it doesn't want to, oh, here we go. So you got all this energy in Capricorn, which is kind of the hierarchy and the structure in the government. This Aries energy doesn't want to kind of pull into that, which is the South Node, where it's making an aspect really specifically with the sun and the moon. But in a whole sign sense, in a wider speaking, yeah, all this energy in Capricorn is trying to tie down the energy in Aries. And then Black Moon Lilith, yeah, I've called it Lilith, but the official name is Black Moon Lilith, and this is like a, I think it's that particular one. I'll have to check. Could be the true Lilith. Oh, let me get into the whole Lilith things anyway. The whole point about the Lilith archetype, essentially, it kind of is very familiar from, I feel like, more the Bible than the Greek mythology, but the story kind of underruns the same, that she is not the subservient Eve archetype, which is kind of portrayed as from the rib of Adam, but more the woman that was made as in Adam's equal and didn't submit to Adam and kind of basically wanted to rule the roost and have her own way. And the way that Lilith was portrayed through, what I say, literature is the word, is very kind of fierce and just wild in the level of domineering. I mean, they really painted her like wickedly. I mean, like child killer, just everything you could think of bad that they could kind of put a connotation to that does exist within both genders, really. So don't think it's just a woman thing, but it kind of represents itself through women especially. So maybe in a man's life it would be the woman or the mother or something like that. But the very dark nature of basically like yeah, everyone's human, and these sad atrocities and things that can happen that you wouldn't think or want to speak of. Lilith is that energy that kind of represent that. But that bad bee, that kind of flavour that everyone's talking about, but I do what I want and no one can't tell me, can't stop me, that's quite Lilith as well. So I mean, it can play out and manifest in so many different levels and forms. But when you got Chiron and Lilith, the sun and the moon, That's like mother, father, man, woman, healer, wounder, healed in the wound, or creating the wound within the archetype of self, consciously and subconsciously. These are all the different levels of how astrology manifests. Then with Lilith here, and this is where I can see like man, woman and beast is going to have a problem with trying to, how can I say, be regulated by the higher authorities. Like, they just can't see us wanting to adhere to it. I say us because this sun and moon speaks to us all, even the authorities themselves. But with Lilith here, I think it's adding the extra kick, and then with Chiron, I can't ignore it. I'm not going to say I know exactly what it means. It's not something that happens very often. Chiron takes 50 years to do a round trip. Lilith is a whole other situation. Sun's a year, moon's a month. Right? I say, on a positive, relatively speaking, Venus in Taurus hopefully keeps things stable, but I kind of see with the trine to Jupiter, it's kind of why a lot of things are kind of like was flowing in terms of the essentials. Capricorn speaks about the essential structure, what you need, survival, as well as Capricorn's the structure, Taurus is the sustenance, Venus rules Taurus. So Pluto's in this mix here next to Jupiter and Mars, so it's not to go unmentioned. So Pluto in the alignment is going to add an intensity. Mars is going to add an even more direct urgency, and Jupiter's going to increase the nature. So this is what I think is causing the mass rush on goods and sustenance, and people try to work out where money's coming from, and the government kind of having the, I don't want to say the upper hand, but like that's what it's looking like right now. You got to call a spade, innit? Like, everyone didn't think the world could get treated like this, but that's what's going on. Just try to look for anything that I've missed. I mean, you got like little things like in fact, I say little things, right? I shouldn't ignore like asteroids like Ceres. It's knowing how to interpret it better. But square to Venus, Ceres, right, was Demeter, which is basically the mother of Persephone. Persephone was known as the wife who was unwillingly abducted by Hades, aka Pluto. Yeah? So the crazy part about mythology is that Demeter and Hades were brother and sister, and Zeus was their brother, and that technically make Persephone his niece, yeah? It's Hades' niece, Pluto. So these are the guys we're talking about. So these two mad brothers, this is their sister. So Jupiter, aka Zeus, Hades, aka Pluto, Demeter, aka Ceres, yeah? All brothers and sisters, siblings from Daddy Saturn, actually. Saturn was the one that I think consumed them all, and except Jupiter, Zeus, and Zeus, mythologically well-known story, is the saviour of the day and why he's the king of all the brothers and sisters and the highest one in the Titans. Yep. So anyway, Zeus gives, depending on how the story goes, does or doesn't give Hades permission, or doesn't really think even to ask Demeter about it. But the Hades situation is that Hades was given the underworld to rule, kind of drawn as a short straw, and it's kind of like an irony because Hades was, I think, was the last one to be cut out of Saturn, his father, who's Kronos, yeah, father of time at that time there. Last one to, so maybe the first one to go in and the last one to get out of Kronos' stomach. That's a mythological tale, yeah, but it rings very true to the operations of functions of father usurping son and son, passing it down to the next generation, so on and so forth. So all of this energy here and me getting a bit deep about it, everyone's been saying about the government's going to lose their power, and well, yeah, everyone thought that, right? But the astrologers were quite wise and said, like, yeah, these guys are never going to do that without a fight, and every generation going upon time to try to get stronger about it. It's not like they don't know about astrology, so Now you know that they know, and now I'm letting you know that you need to know, because they already know. They've been on this. In fact, yeah, you want to say Pluto and Saturn met around here 35 odd years ago, right? Around the time of my beginning of existence, you had AIDS and HIV become public knowledge and information, and lifestyles supposedly have to change. So now we've had 30 odd years, as I say, for Pluto to make its distance from here, Saturn to do a full spin, catch Pluto, and this is what we've got now. So when you're talking about all these prophecies in the books, the later books, not the older books like the Bible and the Quran and whatever else, but the later books around the 80s, yeah, it's because they basically must have been well aware, with astrology being booming in the 70s and 80s kind of period, of what this kind of situation was. It must have been written about, must have been some articles somewhere that spoke to about what it meant. And then I guess the smart writers whose money basically was where their mouth was, obviously put it into print, and people are now picking up that print now, and like, oh wow, where did this come from? How did they know this? What kind of, it's almost like everyone knows. It's kind of just like you don't know. I'm sorry to kind of put it like that, but it's like that. Like everyone in their own formats have been saying it, if it's this book or that book or Revelations or End of Time or blah 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 blah. But yeah, they've been knowing. Right, just keeping my eye on the time out here. Saying that, where's my gigs? Oh my gosh, don't even get me started. That's a situation I can't even bother to. I'm sure there'll be about anyway. When you get to these lockdown situations and, you know, you get to a couple of missions and that, you're thinking not left not in someone's gaff ever. But anyway, yeah, hit me up. I got special offers. People either want to learn astrology, I'm quite happy to teach them. Kind of can work out some rate. But in terms of readings and forecasts for the people, I'm going to be looking to do special offers for you, and keep myself busy, keep yous entertained and informed as much as possibly can. We've got to find a way to live this life and do it the way that it's supposed to be done. But yeah, Aries New Moon, right? So super significant, I guess, and I took this long on it. I guess if you're going to talk about a new moon to signify a moment to start a new year, this would be it. And if you look at the flavour of what this is and what you're going to have have ahead for the next 12 months, slow down, pace off. I swear I have water. Water normally helps, but I must have stuck it somewhere else. Anyway, yeah, I'm looking at all of this stuff here. Venus sextile to Neptune, but that's moving away. Oh, did I say about... Oh, right, so Venus square Ceres, to actually say it. So I talked about the mythology of it all, so you're going to know what I'm saying now. 6 months of the year was the deal that Demeter basically got, that she could have her daughter Persephone back, and 6 months of the year used the mouse. So Demeter, Ceres, yeah, her daughter, and the other 6 months of the year she was Persephone, this is the wife of Pluto, and in the underworld, queen of the underworld with Pluto, she became to be known and embraced the role, so it's said. So this Ceres energy kind of speaks to the give and take, the kind of you have it and then you don't have it, you have it and you don't have it. But it's kind of, I think it's kind of like the ebb and flow energy it kind of really seems to represent, because once she wasn't able to have her daughter with her full time, you know, it became a really sad part of her life. And that's kind of where they get the mythology that the earth has its summer seasons and its winter seasons, due to Ceres being the ruler of nature. Right, and yeah, I'm keeping it wrapped up. So yeah, Venus, that's it, there you go, being the giver of money, fruit, bread, you know, all that kind of stuff, being in Taurus and that, and this square, I can kind of see things being on and off. I think that's the signature I'm trying to get to. So anyway, esync444 at gmail.com, Instagram, Twitter, you name it, I'm on it, right? I'm getting this done before 30 minutes because I want a time limit for myself. That's Saturn kicking in. Bop.